Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to another Dihan stream. We do have a couple of VODs to get into today. So I guess we're gonna get into it. What's up, Corn? Probably eventually end up widening out to get a beholder. Or I'm liking shelving. Okay, so I know it's been a while since we looked at some. I think it was back like July 23rd. So we're gonna see if this one Juno one works. Silver 4. Part of me has a feeling it's not going to since it's been like 2 weeks. Yeah, incompatible version. Okay, so it looks like we have only one VOD to do. They submitted it yesterday. The new person, PC Silver 5 Moira on Samoa. So, gonna go give that a look, see how this is going. Nah, game did not update today. Game updates every Tuesday. If they updated today, it's probably a bug fix, which doesn't really affect replay systems. What'd they say? Diff in team on a DPS aspect. Had some really good flanks, got some good picks to help advance the team. Fades are something that I need to work on, as well as sometimes my engagement and getaways. Maybe a bit more passive at times near the start. 2, as some games I just jump right into the chaos and get caught in the choke point. I also keep using fades to get places, then get cornered after they fail and can't get away, looking for some other areas I can improve and climb the ranks, as I've only been playing for about a week now. Okay, well, if you've been only playing for a week, big thing is going to be just learning hero interactions, maps, all that jazz. And then calling it a diff team on the a team diff on DPS is for sure interesting because we're only in Silver 5, so team diffs aren't really a thing in Silver 5. It's really all focused on you and what you can do to improve. So we're land K55, by the way. So I feel like a lot of this is mainly going to be just like us doing probably silly things that we probably can work on efficiency-wise that will make us better and stronger for this fight. Or for this game, rather. So, get into it. See how it goes. Also, may actually get my filters on my... Yeah, good noise suppression. Yeah, should be good, I think. Alright.
Moving out.
Yeah, so very bold to be fading in right in the middle of the thing. Literally could have gotten hit by so much spam from that. Literally, probably, they don't have a Junkrat, but Zen could have killed you. Ram could have killed you. A Symbol could have hit you. Like, you basically just threw yourself right out there into the like damage of everybody, honestly. Huh? Which again is why you got low and then had to use fade. You leave a VOD with the description complaining about your teammates, you're asking to get at least a... The damage orbs are fine. They are definitely being used to basically keep yourself, you know, get that ult charge, get that damage in. Also, damage orb does charge up your healing. So... yeah, and then here we literally just walked out into what looked to be turrets and the Symmetra, and then we just never used the fade button. So we really could have just gotten ourselves out of that area because we had fade. We get fade every 6 seconds. Not sure why you basically walked yourself into danger after being in a safe zone over here. But yeah, you walked yourself into that danger, and that's basically why you died. Yeah, so here's basically, you just need to group up with your team. You don't even have your tank out yet, so you really shouldn't be doing anything too crazy here. Dropping the heal ball like that was really good. You could hit the turret there, that's okay. I like the pre-heal. Okay, yeah, definitely think about where you're bouncing it. It would have been a lot better if you bounced off the floor here and went up into this wall versus bouncing it close to you where it's going to go much higher and fly off. Also, probably didn't need a heal orb there. I might have thrown a damage orb um, into the mix just because Hog's going to be able to heal himself and you don't really have anyone else injured on your team. So damage orb might have just been better just to maybe you could have hit the Zen if you threw it, long enough down this hallway. Maybe there'd be enough to tickle him and get him killed. But other than that, like there's 3-4 people here that you could have just gotten a lot of ult charge off of, which could have built your coalescence a little quicker. Versus this one, which is a waste entirely. Yeah, it looks like we just like don't know where the turrets are or how to really get the turrets. There again, we had Fade and we just like didn't use it to get ourselves out. The big thing I'm seeing is we're not focusing on the geometry of where the balls are going to be bouncing. We're basically taking these balls, and you should be able to bounce them off of the walls and such, but it looks to me like you're not really thinking about that. You're just thinking of the line, just the first line that it's going to travel, not really where it's going to bounce off the wall. Definitely do not just pop your ultimate like this. This is probably the worst way to use your ultimate. It does not go through walls. And yeah, it may speed you up to get back to your team, but this is something that you would use if you were like maybe a Zenyatta using Transcendence. This is not really something Moira should be doing. This basically is just a big throw, in my opinion. You probably, even if your Hog dies here, you probably had enough time to group up and re-engage. But it looks to me like a lot of this fighting, you're not thinking about your team and grouping up in the first place. Good damage orb. That's going to kill the Zen. Well done. Another thing they're not saying is, like, you aren't pre-healing very much. Moira's healing basically heals over time. So if you give someone a little bit of a spritz, it's going to heal them, like, 60 health over 3 seconds or something like that. So you can just give your teammates a little bit of a spritz while you go and do other things. And that's going to allow them to have some sustain while they're fighting. Versus them just going in, having no healing at all, and then you have to basically heal them after the fact. Even there, right? Why are we throwing a damage orb and bouncing it, like, this way, where it's going to go and leave the fight? If I were you, I would have tried throwing your damage orb closer to inside the arena, so when it bounces, it's going to stay in the arena, and that's going to give you the most impact for this damage orb. We're not really thinking about these bounces, and instead we're just throwing these orbs, and they're just traveling away. That only probably did, like, maybe 50, maybe at most 100 damage, and each damage orb carries, I think it might be 250 now. But it was 200 at one point, so I'm just gonna say 200 just to be, giving you, the least that it could do. But yeah, it probably only did 50. It had at least 150 more damage on it, probably. And you threw it into a sound beat, so you probably should have held on to it, to be honest, until the barrier was gone. But yeah, I mean, think about it too. Like, we have 84% ult charge. And if we used our orbs more efficiently and we healed using the small little pre-healing, the small spritz that we're doing, I think that you definitely could be closer to your ultimate and might even have it for this fight. Here we are using our orb again. Yeah, that time it just went up into the sky. Okay. Okay. There we go. That's you actually thinking about the orb geometry. It didn't work out, but at least you thought about it. Yeah, still not really thinking about the orbs. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is probably the best I've seen you do. This is bad. You're attacking the tank. You don't need to attack the tank here. Good. Orb could have been better. But honestly, you're doing pretty good. If you kill him here, it's a good stagger. Maybe. Okay, so we get the first point. Very good. Yeah, very good so far. Really seeing... I mean, like I said, the orb bouncing is a big thing. I think giving people a little bit of spritz before fights so that they get the healing over time can help. You're dying with fade on, like, off of cooldown. So you definitely could be fading to save yourself more, but you're just not. Yeah, I mean, that healing orb's not going to do anything. You literally just wasted a heal orb. When you're throwing these orbs, you also have to think about where the fight's going to end up, not where it's currently at. Because you're throwing it where people currently are, and then they start moving away from your orbs, and then because of that, it doesn't get the maximum value that it could. And then, yeah, you don't have a team there, so you decide to go in and fight, even though you don't have a team, so you should have just waited, thrown some orbs, get some ult charge, eventually get coalescence and push in with that. Even here, a little bit of spritz on these guys before you go in. And now we're in, and because you decided to fade into 5 people, you're going to die for it. So that's why you don't fade right into 5 people. Only reason you should go for aggressive fades like that is if someone decides to come in and they, like... They have, like, one person off on their own kind of doing whatever. That's when you can fade in and be a little bit aggressive. If you see, like, 4 or 3 people all next to each other, it's not really a good idea to fade into that, because you're just going to get yourself picked off. And then, yeah, now here, we're just looking for damage orbs to get ourselves some ult charge so we get coalescence. You can also spritz your team. In case you guys don't know what spritzing is, I'm probably going to show you guys after this. But on TikTok, I do have a short of me showing what, like, that basically is, or what that looks like. Because not many more players actually know what that she has like a pre-healing.
Surrender to my will.
Good fade, but you could have grabbed the health pack. Looks like you're gonna go grab this health pack. Yeah, if you know where health packs are around the map, that's definitely going to help you too, because you didn't have to waste an orb for yourself, right? You could have either faded and grabbed this health pack here, which would have healed you up to full, or when you made it over here and you made it safe, you could have grabbed this health pack, which would have allowed you to have a damage orb for some actual engagement, for some actual damage. So, you just have to think of things like this to be a little bit more aggressive.
I know. Last shot. Let's make it count. Big stanger lat. Lending a hand. Enemy seen.
Yeah, this is the good spritz that I'm talking about. You do not do that very often. And that's probably a reason why everyone keeps dying on you, because you're not basically giving them the healing before you go and do missions like this. But that was good. See how that guy was by himself and he picked him off? That was good. And now this guy? Melee probably would have killed him faster. Also didn't necessarily need to be that close to Onron. Looks good. Yeah, and damage orb going absolutely nowhere. You just wasted a damage orb. That's like all your burst damage, by the way. Warrior does not have any burst damage other than the damage orb. That's a little bit better of a damage orb use. But yeah, I mean, we're really struggling with these orb placements. Do we just not melee things? You could have meleeed the railing there. You can help out with the turrets. The turrets. The turrets. Okay, we're gonna go 1v1 as Zen. Okay. Nice. Yeah, so this is fine. But you're being a little bit of a where's my team Walter. Because you're going in when you don't have your team with you. And then you're kind of just like getting blown up because you don't have your team with you. So yeah, you get a pick, but then you're like, your whole team's dead anyways, so now you're staggering yourself. Could also do the... It's better to throw your orb when you're about to ult, because one, you can't throw your orb when you're in ult, and two, your orb paired with your coalescence gives you a huge amount of burst and kill potential. So you really should be throwing your orb with your ultimate when you can.
The fight is imminent. Your end is within my reach.
Yeah, see how she grabbed the health pack to get herself out of there? Something you probably could have done here is when you were fighting her, realized where the health pack was, and then you pick it up. General moved? What is up? Stealing health packs is a really good idea when you are fighting someone on a 1v1. Because if you don't take the health pack, the person you are fighting definitely will. Oh, big Freya ult. Holy shit. Oh, very good Freya. Freya's going hard. You guys can definitely win that. You guys can come in and get this. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this fighting just looks like your team's just not really grouped up. And that's probably you included, too. Nice. Good heals. I mean, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of us healing our teammates either. Okay. Bouncing, that's good. A lot of panic fading, too. You definitely need to be a little bit more comfortable. I really hate the fact that we are using our heal orb just on ourselves. Because Moira not only applies damage, but she is able to heal herself with her, you know, with her beam, with her damage. With her, yeah, she has lifesteal. Thank you, chat. So, if we go to Moira, things I'm talking about is, she has this. So you can give people this, and look, it heals them over time. You see that? How that says 70, 80, 100? I'm just giving a little spritz, and it heals, and this just heals people over time when they're getting things. But when they get real low, chat, and you see how it's still going even after I'm done healing them? Look at that. 59 healed. Heals about 60 with one spray. Right? Now, you're probably thinking the only way to heal people is when you do this. Because, yeah, the number goes up a lot quicker, right? That heals 200, but it took, like, 1/4 of my heals. So you need to keep that in mind. And then, yeah, you spray them afterwards. Even if this guy's full health, when he starts taking damage, he'll start healing again. Yeah? So, giving people a spritz, even when they're full health, is going to heal them over time. Another thing I'm seeing is, well, something else I'm seeing. Just going to waste all this resource. People on TikTok were telling me that you can just tap, and it's going to really speed up that resource if you tap. But if we hold it, yeah, it definitely goes a lot quicker if you tap it. Yeah? So, depends on if you need that resource, but something else that TikTokers were telling me is, if I decide to just throw a damage orb, that's gonna heal, that's gonna gain my resource as well. So, that can help you with your healing resource sustain as well. And then Damage Orb Co. is a quick way to burst people down. Look at that, already did 254 damage. So, you know. And then, what else we got? What else we got? Oh yeah, look at that. Big heals. Yeah, I mean, you're fading into the enemy a lot. You're not really grouped up. Meleeing is going to do more damage than your damage, right? This is going to kill someone quicker than if you just do this. Right? But then this is probably going to kill someone the quickest if you're dueling. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, that's most of what Moira's got. So, hope that helps. I guess we're going to look at General Movad. I've been struggling in on a losing streak. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Currently Plat 1 tank. This was a random loss today. I don't even remember this game, to be honest. Alright, so we're going to pull this one up. Hopefully the Moira tips helped. Pull this one up. Hey. Alright, and who are we? Worst tank NA? Are we worst tank NA? I'm really hoping we're the worst NA. Eh? Alright, so in terms of our team, what do we got? We got ourselves May, Kiriko, Moira, and then I think her name's Shion or Sion. Um, but overall, your team comp is kind of just like all over the place. You know, we got I don't even know what to classify it because like you're playing a dive, you have a May who's more of a what's the word? Like brawly. You have a Shion who's I think a little bit more divey, more flanky. Um, then you got a Kiri who can dive, but probably is better poking. But yeah, I mean your team comp's kind of all over the place. I don't know if Hazard is the best tank to fit this, but if you are a Hazard player, then I can understand why you would want to choose to play Hazard. Um, so okay, I'm not sure. Also, you decided to just cut yourself off over here. A thing that Hazard has over people like Mauga is the whole fact that he's able to climb, get to high ground and stuff. So you could have ended up here and been probably more of an asset to the enemy team, while the Mauga kind of can't do anything other than shoot you from down here, which is a lot less damage than what he's gonna do right here. So really take into account what you're going to be going up against. If it's a Mauga, try to play around high ground a lot more. This is probably also not the best place for your team to go through. Again, your team is pretty pokey, divey, and stuff. And going into a small corridor like this isn't really great for a dive team. If you're going to try and dive, you're going to be your better bet's going to be going through all these open areas and again staging yourself up on this high ground so you can find someone that's a little bit more exposed for you to jump down on. Yeah, because right now what I'm saying is like you don't have a target in mind at all when you're doing these dives. You're just kind of like seeing things and then just trying to go for it. And when you're playing something like dive, you do have to use your brain a little bit more. Like I'm just seeing like you're just seeing things and then chasing them like a dog to a ball. Dive has typically 3 phases to it. There's going to be... First one is scouting, which is literally just you looking at where the enemy team's positioning. Second part is going to be staging, getting yourself to a good position to be able to dive in on whatever you want to dive in on. And then the third one is going to be the initiation, actually diving in on the target. Okay, that Onron should die. Never mind. Nice. Yeah, so this is something that's really annoying. You're reloading your gun here, and you decide, I'm gonna right-click to cancel my reload. And then you dive in here, she's 1 health, but you canceled your reload, so you have to reload again. A reload probably would have been able to kill her before she rounded this corner, but you used your right-click. So now, you have to go into another reload animation, she grabs the health pack, and she's out. Here we are, monkey see, monkey do. Just going for aimless victims. Like, do we even know what our team's doing out here, or are we just fighting? You know, we're not even considering, like, what our team's up to. We're not grouping up. You're literally just playing aimlessly, and if you're gonna play a dive hero, it's not gonna work out. You have to think when you're playing dive. You have to think, like, who's the dive target? In this case, the dive target probably is Onron. She's probably the most diveable out of all these heroes. Second one would be probably the Juno. But honestly, none of their comps seems to be diveable either, so I don't know, like, you're running dive into an undiveable team. Yeah. Here you're just grouping up. Lost a team member, so you gotta group up more. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say probably using your ult on the Genji when he first popped Blade would have been a good idea, but still working out. Here you're shooting a Malga when you probably should focus the Lucio. But your team's got you on the Lucio, so no worries about that. Let's get the Juno. Right here you could be fighting the Juno. Instead, right now you're focusing on the Malga. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't... Were we taking a ton of damage? No, you weren't taking a ton of damage. Instead, you just wanted to walk into a Malga. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not seeing any of the phases of a dive, really. I'm not seeing us go for any kind of scouting. I'm not seeing us initiate ourselves to be close enough to actually get a successful hazard dive off. And I'm definitely not seeing any execution to it. Yo, what's up, Beast? How you doing, man? We got a new house. So I'm in my... This is the new setup, probably for... several years. Maybe even forever?
I'm fine. Barely felt it.
Is the name true? No. Believe it or not, I have seen worse tanks. But it probably most brain dead tank NA probably would be make more sense as a name, I think. Yeah, thanks, East. Appreciate it. We're still unpacking and getting everything set up, but we are definitely enjoying the place and the space. Yeah, so that's the tank. Do you know what the tank is made to do, chat? Do you know what the role of a tank is? It is to create space, but also to tank the damage. So if you ever find yourself shooting the tank several times over, it means that their tank is doing their job correctly. Nice. I like how we used the wall to give ourselves some cover. That was good. Big ult. Ooh, yeah, you needed to put the wall on the Malga as you killed the other person. We're watching a hazard that just kind of goes ooga booga and jumps on people. That's what I'm missing, chat. No staging. We're literally a tank. The only tank in the game that is able to vault, hurdle obstacles, climb things, and I don't think I saw him climb anything in that entire thing. I don't think I actually know how to do the one-shot, so I'm not gonna act like I know how to do the one-shot combo. Staging? Yeah, staging. Yeah, so if we go into staging... Here, let me just... hypothetically, if there's people... Let's say I'm going for this dive, yeah? Let's say I have these people here that I'm gonna dive. If I play back here and I go for the dive, oh shoot, I'm not gonna get to them, you know? You can't get to them. So instead, all dive tanks have staging. It's to get yourself either in a position, you can play here, or maybe up here, or here. That makes the dive a little easier. On top of that, staging doesn't have to be just distance-wise. You can play on high ground. So, something that you can do, most Winstons usually do this, but if you're above a character, you can always jump down, hit the character. If they dive away, now you have your dash to chase after them and deal with them that way, rather than you use your dash to someone and then they dash away. Really kind of defeats the whole purpose of a dive. So most dives will, yeah, usually start above, up here. Another reason why natural cover is good, if I back up, I am cutting off my line of sight on that person. Versus if I, and then if I walk forward, I can open up that line of sight on people. So I'm opening up the engagement, and I get to dictate whether I want to engage on that or not. If you're playing low ground, doesn't matter how far you back up, you're going to see that person the whole time. Not to mention, they're going to be able to shoot you the whole time. The only way you'll be able to dictate whether you can engage or not is if you put cover, and they can always run around the cover. Not all heroes can get themselves up to a high ground. Another thing is tanks usually just get, they usually have a presence or a space. Think about it. If I was a hazard and I was already just up here on this high ground, it would cause... Probably more so this high ground, to be honest. But... Please. Please! There you go. If I'm just standing up here and I have my abilities, it's going to make enemies not want to walk around here because they know that I can jump on them and I can be a deadly threat. So just me standing up here is going to create space and force them to play probably outside of my dive range. And so you just keep on walking, and as long as you are moving your dive range, you're going to be more of a threat, not even seeing the dive come out. If they are seeing you at max distance and you go for a dive like this, well, now you don't have your dive, so they can do all they want on you because you don't have your mobility options. You're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do this, and then you're going to have to do this again. And then you're going to exhaust all of this, and then you're just going to be dead because you have no resources. So that is why we stage, and then I'll go back to someone like... I mean, this is just Hazard, but Winston's the same thing, you know? It's a lot better for Winston to attack from up here. Not only because, yes, he can just drop on the enemies, but he can choose when to engage, you know? He can cleave. I mean, I don't know. There's not really many places on the training ground for them to actually show this off. But, like, you can cleave, and then you can, like, you know... And then they dive away, and then you jump after them, and then you'll place your bubble down or something. But high ground is super important, and if you're jumping around aimlessly on a tank, especially a dive tank, you're probably going to get killed for it, because a lot of diving is making sure you're extending, but extending into safe parts. A Hazard's a little bit more forgiving because you actually have to block. If you play someone like Winston and you end up overextending, you're just going to get yourself blown up in doing so. And that will be the process, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, main thing I'd say is just the scouting aspect, which is just seeing where they are, positioning yourself to get into said position. And then the execution, which is diving on the target. That was a really bad dive. But to eventually get the kill. And then rinse and repeat, hopefully. So, yeah. Hope that helps. And happy climbing. Chat, I know that this was a very short thing. I know there wasn't actually that many VOD reviews inside my Discord. So, thank you everyone for coming out to another Dhon stream. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. So, thanks everyone for coming to another Dhon stream. I hope the quality of everything has been really nice. I feel like the quality is somewhat good. I'm noticing I'm lagging on the stream a little bit. I just hope that the audio is not lagging on me either, and that it's actually on time with the things that I'm saying. If not, I'll try to fix that. But yeah, if you guys like this stuff, I think on YouTube, the Discord link is in the description, so you can feel free to join that, and I do VOD reviews queued up that way. If you, and then yeah, of course, don't forget to hit that follow button just to know, you know, next time I'm going live. We usually go live every Monday, and I usually just exhaust myself with all VOD reviews until I call off Monday, but it's usually Mondays within every once in a while an occasional weekend stream, though because I have a new house with my fiance, we're probably doing a lot less of weekend streams. At least for now. Maybe we'll get back into it, but for now. Anyways, thanks everyone for coming out, and I will see you guys all in another one. GG's, and have a fantastic rest of your night. Peace.